Achraf Hakimi outsmarted his wife. Hakimi's wife, Hiba Abouk, filed a divorce file and she wanted more than half of his property and fortune. By the way, he receives more than 1 million euros per month. His ex-wife thought that she was the smartest, but when they arrived in the courtroom, she realized that his entire fortune was under his mother's name. So he doesn't need to give his ex-wife anything. Always trust your mom.
All right. So, first and foremost, okay, for those of you guys who don't know, Achraf, and this happened, and this is for my Western audience who doesn't follow world football. But Achraf Hakimi is a Moroccan international footballer. He came up in Spain, and he was famous in the World Cup for basically sliding through easy penalties and doing well. Now, the thing is about him is that his mom and his father, he came up in Spain, and so their parents were looking for a better life. Now, the thing is, there are so many lessons to take from this move. And for those of you guys who are staying in the West, and those of you guys who may be going to a westernized country outside of the West, there is something to learn here. We can use this blueprint, you know what I mean? Now, I'm going to get into something else too. This video may be a little bit drawn out, it may be a little bit drawn out a lot because there's some things that I want to cover on this video that many people may overlook. And so, yeah, it's going to be a big video. So just brace yourself. All right. So, you know, Achraf Hakimi, the thing is about Achraf Hakimi and his mom and his plight, his mother used to clean houses, and I think his father used to sell things on the streets, you know what I mean? And so he was very, very close to his mom. As a matter of fact, her name is Saida Mu, and she moved to Spain. And yes, her husband was a street vendor. And the thing is about the mom is that he even admitted that they came from a modest family that struggled to earn a living. And then he said today that he fights for everything. They sacrifice to themselves for him, and that they deprive even his brothers of certain things in order for him to succeed. He was the breadwinner in essence. They knew that he was the breadwinner. So even at 7 years old, he was already turning heads. And so Real Madrid, one of the biggest teams in Spain, showed interest, you know, and so this is why they decided to take him on, you know. Now, since there's two things that we have to keep in mind here. The first thing is his mother was a traditional woman, you know. His mother stayed with the father because they had similar plights, you know. The father was a street vendor. She was cleaning houses. Now, another thing that needs to be said is that, you know, back in her heyday, she was probably a looker, you know. She was probably like, You know what I mean? Like back in her day, right? But she stayed down. You know, she stayed down with her husband when, you know, living in Madrid. She could have probably easily been hypergamous and just went ahead and went with a like more well-to-do migrant or a well-to-do Spanish person, you know, like, because I'm gonna be honest, like, as racist as Spanish people are, you know, they be checking for like, they be checking for Africans heavy, and they even be checking for North Africans. You know, I have family in Spain, so I know the intel with that. But would I move there? Part of me wanted to at first, but nah, you know, I wouldn't go there. You know, it's like a liberalist, westernized. It's basically just a western outpost of America that speaks Spanish. Spanish proper, I should say, or Castilian Spanish. Now, one thing I want to say too about this whole situation is that, you know, I think because of that, because of that affection that he received from his mom, and granted, he could have put it into his father's name too as well. You know, maybe the father just doesn't like to be in the public eye, or, you know, I don't know that much about the father, but he probably could have put it in the father's name, right? But he didn't. He put it in his mom's name. He put his assets in his mom's name. Now, I don't know when he did this. You know, I don't know if he did this when he first got, you know, signed to, you know, signed to, you know, his first big club when he left Madrid, which was Dortmund in Germany. You know, I don't know for sure. But one thing I want to say is that his wife, you know, his wife, just give me 1 minute. So, okay. Yes, okay. So his wife, who goes by the name of Hiba Abruk, right? And this is something to be aware of. And, you know, I'm not saying it's done. I'm not saying that you can't find one. You still can find one, but just don't look in Spain for that one. But you will find that a lot of Moroccans who live in Europe have the footprint of the typical Western European woman. Okay? The thing is that what they're not going to talk about, and this shows the whole double standard of it all. You know, anything that basically women want to do things that a man can do, but not face the backlash and the criticism of those things. So, like, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you. When a man does certain things that maybe are, like, I guess you can say, what's the word? Unethical. Let's just say that. He's gonna get all the criticism in the world. Let's say he says something, okay? Let's say he says something, right? Then they may cancel him for saying a certain thing, you know what I mean? And that's usually how it works. But let a woman say and do something, she is empowered according to the West, you know? So the thing is about Hiba Abruk, right? Achraf Hakimi, okay, is 24 years old. Hiba Abruk is 36 years old. They got married, or I think they started dating in 2018. They got married in 2020, which means that he was only 20 years old. She was 32. Now, the funny thing is, they're not going to talk about age gap, and they're not going to talk about the fact that this guy, straight to the big leagues, right? Still getting his feet wet in the highest level and the highest caliber of football, was wet behind the ears, okay? Still starting out, still finding its way. Not even like the, of course, the, you're legally an adult younger in Europe, but when you look at it, still not matured. And as a 24-year-old right now, is still maturing. Okay? This was a grown old woman, 32 years old. So I hate to say it, but she's almost lightweight, like a Moroccan Brittany Renner in a certain sense. Now, granted, Brittany Renner was 26 and PJ Washington was 18, but it begs the question, like, okay, and she's an actress, by the way, in Spain. She's a Spanish actress, but she's of Moroccan descent. So it's like, okay, you guys fault us for not finding people in our age bracket, but when you guys do it, you guys have nothing to say. Like, that's the whole thing that really boggles my mind. You guys have absolutely nothing to say about it. Okay? But granted, what I also want to talk about, and people are going to say I support a rapist and this, that, and the other, but the thing is about Achraf Hakimi is there's alleged things that he raped someone. And the thing is about it is, until I have serious proof, DNA evidence and things like that of grape, because what it is right now is a grape allegation, then I'm not gonna say anything about that, man. I'm not gonna say anything about that, man, until the evidence proves true. Okay? Now, granted, the wife is divorcing because of that. Now, granted, again, there's as they say, allegations. But the thing is about his wife, is you look at her, yeah, she's a pretty woman. She's pretty. I'm not gonna sit here and cap. She's pretty. Okay? But she's a very modest woman. She's a very, like, a woman that, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, basically, she's a modern woman. She lost her Moroccan values, being an actress and stuff like that. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being an actress. It's just that when you look at how she dresses and stuff like that, it's just like, yo, yeah. And I think that's what it was for her in divorcing this guy, because they only stayed married for like 3 years. I think they got married in 2020. Now she's divorcing him in 2023. Yeah, it was just a come up for her. It was just like a means to an end. And with that being said, he played chess, not checkers, okay? And that's a lesson that could be learned for men who decide to risk marriage here, which I don't recommend. But yeah, if your wife, he just put us on a hack or put people who are staying here on a hack that maybe never would have been available to us if we didn't do the research. But yeah, if you are getting married here, and I know it's going to be pretty difficult because a lot of you guys, unfortunately, come from a system where the mom is just like the wife in terms of like toxicity and things like that. And I know that some people have been programmed to basically accept that and accept women's behavior like that because their mom was acting like that. But if your dad was a solid stand-up guy, then put those things in your dad's name. Even if even like it, because a lot of the times the mom will lie on the dad. The mom will lie on the dad. The mom will lie, oh, he's just this horrible person, and really he didn't get a chance to say his he didn't get a chance to say his side of the story. So you've only been programmed to believe what your mom had to say about him, when really he like might be a good dude. So with that being said, if you decide to try to marry here, man, just put everything in your dad's name, because your dad, the thing is, what I find from experience is that your dad is going to actually have your best interests at heart, because the thing is, what I've learned from mothers, and not my mom, but what I've learned from mothers is that mothers here, they usually tell things that are going to be in a woman's interest and not in a man's interest. That's what I learned. Because of course they can't teach a man to be a man as much as they think that they can. Even when you look at certain people in the sports world who had single moms, they still had a presence of a male around them. This includes LeBron James. This includes Allen Iverson. There was still some type of male figure around them that would influence and shape their lives. Okay. There was still that. I was still around them. Okay. Just being honest with you. Now, with that being said, okay. That being said, let's take a lesson from him, okay? And I think, like me personally, although he was a man at 20, I think he was like naive, maybe. That's why, because I mean, to be honest with you, he probably has a residence back in Morocco. Like, he could have easily had two, like, traditional Moroccan wives. But maybe I don't know if he has a, what they call a public relations person who said, okay, well, maybe this will be a flex if you marry this actress. I don't know if that goes on in Spain. I'm not quite sure about how that works. But, I mean, this is a good lesson for us, guys. This is a very, very good lesson. And I think more guys should practice this hack, And, yeah, bro. With that being said, leave your thoughts and leave your comments about this situation. Inshallah, I'm going to go live later. Inshallah. And I want to talk about something else that has really came to my attention that basically shows that it's a grift and that you're not fooling anybody here, okay? You're not fooling a single person. But with that being said, Fool is signing out. Leave your thoughts, leave your comments. Jara.